Okay, we are going to talk about comparing and ordering rational numbers. That's fractions and decimals and mixed numbers and all kinds of things. So in class, I gave you your a yellow sheet that looks like this. And so I like to give you very common fractions: 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. Then we have 1/4, 2/4 is 1/2. Then we have 3/4. And then we have thirds, which is 1/3 and 2/3, okay? And then of course we have some tenths down here. These are very common fractions that we use a lot all year long, and you'll use probably for the rest of your life. So eventually we will memorize these, but if you want to use this yellow sheet for your homework, it's perfectly fine to do that. I just wanted to let you know that this is. I will also attach it on Google Classroom, so if you ever lose yours, you can print it off. All right, so let's start on our number line. Okay, we are going to fill in the missing decimals and fractions. So right here, if we look at what we're counting by, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sections between 0 and 1. So we know we're counting by tenths. All right, so we're counting by tenths. So 1/10 and 1/10. We're going to put fractions on the bottom and decimals on the top. So we're just going to fill these in so that you can see how they relate to each other and where they are. So we have 2/10. Okay, so we can write 2/10. If we simplified 2/10, that would be 1/5. Okay, remember this fraction and this fraction are equivalent. Then we have 3/10. I'm going to write that as a decimal. Then we have 4/10. 4/10. Okay, also 4/10 is equal to 2/5 if we simplified it. Then we have 5/10. Again, we have 5/10, but that's going to be equal to 1/2. Then if we keep going in order, this is going to be 6/10. And again, this right here is going to be equal to 6/10, but simplified, it's 3/5. Then we have 7/10 as the decimal. So we have 7/10 as a fraction. We have 8/10 as a decimal. So we have 8/10 as a fraction. If we simplified it, it's going to be 4/5. Then we have 9/10, 9/10, and then we have 1/2. All right, so right here it says which decimal is equivalent to 1/4. All right, so we have 1/4. So I know we talked about this in class, but 1 out of 4, when I think of 4, I think, well, there's 4 quarters in $1. So if I have 1 out of the 4 quarters, I have 25 cents. So since this was halfway between 2/10 and 3/10, or 20 cents if you put a 0, and 30 cents if you added a 0, 1/4 is going to be equal to 25 cents, or 25 hundredths. All right, so what we learned on page 8 will help you with this, okay? So let's read. There's several ways we can do this. So this right here, if we read this, this is 2/10. Okay, so 2/10. If I have this in front of me, I know that 2/10 and 1/2, I know that half of 10 is 5, right? That would be here, 2/10. And then 1/2 is here. So I know that 1/2 is going to be larger. But if I didn't have this number line in front of me, I could do a fraction battle. I could say 10 times 1 is 10, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, let me show that off to the side. So we have 2/10 and 1/2. If I show that off to the side, that's 10 times 1, 2 times 4, 2 times 2 is 4. 10 is a larger product, therefore 1/2 is the larger fraction out of those two. So this would get 2 dots. My smaller number would get 1. So 2/10, sorry, connect the dots a little better than that. 2/10 is less than 1/2. So we have 3/5, and we're comparing it to 4/10. So 4/10. And again, if I wanted to compare it to 3/5, okay, I'm running out of room to do this. Let's do it over here. 3/5 and 4/10. So if I fraction battle, that is 20/10. 10 times 3 is 30. 30 is the larger product out of these two, so 3/5 is going to be the larger number. I could also, in a while, I'll have 3/5 memorized as 6/10. So I know that 6/10 is greater than 4/10. So 3/5 is greater than 4/10. Right here, again, I could do fraction battle. 10 times 4 is 40. 5 times 7 is 35. 40 is the larger product, therefore 4/5 is going to be the larger fraction. Okay, and again, there are a lot of ways to do this. I could make these into decimals and then compare them. I could look at my number line and think about which one's farther to the right, which one's larger. All right, let's look at this one. 50 hundredths, or 50 cents if we want to think of it like money. Well, a $1/2 is also 50 cents, or $1/2. Okay, so these two right here are going to be equal. When ordering fractions and decimals, okay, you're going to either change the fractions to equivalent decimals, okay, or the decimals to equivalent fractions. Okay, that's one option. Remember, another option is what we did on page 8, where we, here, let me show you, it's right here. Where we changed our fractions to equivalent fractions with 100 or 10 as a denominator. Okay. All right, so here we have order from greatest to least. So here we have 6/10, we have 2/10, we have 1/2. Now, if we know what decimal equivalents these are, either from here or from our yellow sheet that I showed you, I can just write these in decimal equivalents. So 1/2 of a dollar. If I want to make it look like money, okay, I'm going to put a 0 here. But if I want to make it in tenths, I can leave it like this. I'm going to make it look like money. Okay, then we have 1/4 is, 1/4 is 1 out of 4 quarters, that's 25 cents. 3/4 is 3 out of 4 quarters, is 75 cents. Okay, so if we use a number line and we think this is counting by tenths because it has 10 blanks, this is going to be 1/10. Then we have 2/10, which is this right here. Then we have right here in between, let's say 20 and 30 cents would be 25 cents. That would be 1/4. Okay, that would be that 25 cents. Then we have 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, which is going to be your 1/2. Then we have 6/10, which is right here. Then we have 7/10. Then we have 75, because if this is 7/10 and 8/10, this right here is 3/4, which was your 75 cents. Here's 8/10, 9/10. Okay, so we want these in greatest to least, so we want to start on this side. Okay, so we have 3/4. Then if we keep moving this way, we have 6/10. Then if we keep moving this way, we have 1/2. Then we have 1/4. Then we have 2/10. Okay, and I make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm missing one. I'm missing this 8/10 right here. Okay, that's going to go here. I'm so sorry. At the beginning, because that is the greatest or farthest right on the number line. All right, there'll be a separate video for page 18.